Virat Kohli is well and truly back to his vintage best, not just in international cricket but in IPL as well. He's smashing the bowlers all around the park. He's stacking up those numbers that we were so used to seeing. But let's not forget that Virat Kohli has taken his time to get back to his original best. There was this time that Virat Kohli, and that period lasted as much as 3 years. In fact, he was really struggling for runs. He didn't get a century. His last century, in fact, had come speaking of competitive cricket, had come in November 2019, and for good just about 3 years he was struggling for runs and he didn't get a single century. The world was talking about Virat Kohli at one point, as is right now also, but for different reasons. Virat Kohli, in an interaction, has now talked about that whole phase, and he's also dropped a bit of a bombshell, one can say, because he said that there was this time last year that he was in fact thinking of a certain month, let's say, being his last month in competitive cricket, and he would be totally okay with that. That's the kind of mindset that he had also reached last year. But thanks to the Asia Cup, I can say that Virat Kohli, because he had a good turnaround in that tournament, and since then we've seen that upward trajectory as far as his runs are concerned. So it's good in a way that Virat Kohli has found himself in the sort of spot that we as cricket viewers, people who are passionate about the sport, like to see him in. But let's now tell you what exactly was this phase in his life, and what exactly has he said when it comes to quitting cricket, because that thought did cross his mind just about a couple of months back. So let's quickly have a look at what Virat Kohli said in an interview. He said that the most important factor in the whole transition period before the Asia Cup last year was the fact that I was willing to let go of everything. He also goes ahead and says that I was willing to accept that when I go back and play, it might be the last month of me playing competitive cricket, and I was absolutely okay with that. This is now what Virat Kohli has said, speaking in hindsight about that patch wherein he was struggling for runs and he didn't get any century for nearly 3 years. So much so that at one point he thought that, okay, Asia Cup is what it's going to be. I've played it all, I've achieved it all, whatever it is, but I'm fine if things don't work out well for me. And this is what he says here, that regardless of what happens, last month of competitive cricket for me. But then of course we saw what happened in that match against Afghanistan. He registered his first ton in about 3 years time, also his first ton as far as the limited edition, rather the shortest edition of the game is concerned. And he also spoke about that moment as well, when he reached that century. He said that there was a reason why I was just smiling all along when I reached that landmark, because I could feel it, and it lasted for just a short while. And for all this while, for good 1.5 years that he was looking for that century, it felt such a small thing, because it came and it just sort of went in, just like that, in that split couple of seconds. So he probably now feels in hindsight that he gave too much importance to that particular moment, and at one point he was absolutely fine if things didn't work out well at the Asia Cup to possibly not play competitive cricket anymore. But I think destiny has had different plans for him and for us as well as viewers, because I think we all love the fact that Virat Kohli dominates the way that he does, and he's in fact doing so as we speak as well, because he's carried that form that he sort of regained in the international scheme of things. He's now taken that form into the IPL as well, and right now he's already scored a couple of half centuries. He's got upwards of 200 runs in the IPL. He's in the top 5 as far as run gutters go. And it's safe to say that Virat Kohli is well and truly back.